Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Anime Watch Club, a bi-weekly group discussion and review where the hosts of the What Do You Say Anime podcast nominate and vote on shows either we haven't seen or shows that hopefully lead to a great discussion. On today's April Fool's episode, the vampires of the What Do You Say Anime podcast will be reviewing the 2008 anime Twilight. Let's meet today's Daywalkers. First up, he's the only person who ships Billy and Gil. We got Jay. Jay, how's it going?
Oh, it's going well. I don't know who either of those two characters are.
That's Bella's dad and Jacob's dad, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Next up, he's the little spider monkey of the podcast. We have Johnny. Johnny, how's it going?
I can't believe you just went there, Pete. Like, how dare you?
I had to. I'm sorry, man. You mentioned
How
it.
can you call me little like that? Like, that's so racist.
It's not.
Right,
that's not racist at all. Next up, more enraged than a steroid-induced cokehead having to watch this movie. We got Kat. Kat, how's it going?
It's been a struggle, and today is just gonna be a long period of PTSD, honestly.
Well, I'm glad you made it through. Our special guest for tonight, she holds Kat in check when he is behind the scenes. We got Burley. Burley, how's it going? Are you excited to talk Twilight?
Yeah, just remembering my middle school years all over again.
Hell yeah. Glad to have you. Our first moderator of the night was actually in this movie, but was cut for yelling, "Watch out, bitch," right before Tyler's truck was about to hit Bella. We got Miles. Miles, how's it going?
You know, every week, Pete, you test our improv skills, and every week I fail harder than those random dudes who asked Bella out in this movie.
Nice. That was pretty good. That was a pretty good improv. I like that. Last but not least, he is our fearless moderator, the light that shines from my heart, and the podcast promotional master. We got Pat. Pat, how's it going?
Oh, Pat couldn't make it.
No,
Pat's sick. Oh God.
I even wrote out this special little diddly for him.
Goodness,
He'll never hear it because he doesn't listen to the podcast.
That's so great.
Oh, Pat. Well, unfortunately, Pat was sick, so Miles is our only moderator of the night, so he gets to have all the fun and lead the discussions. Miles, take it away, please.
Yes, so I guess I want to start this off the same way we always do, with your first impressions and stuff, but I know that for a good portion of us, we probably have some sort of history with Twilight. So let me know, are you a Twilight novice, or, did you, when you were in high school or middle school or whatever, were you reading the books? What was going on with your lives? So we'll start with Kat. Kat, what do you got?
I am definitely a Twilight novice. Burley actually, when we first started dating, she said that we were going to start watching Twilight, and we haven't gotten around to it until this week. So, specifically earlier today. So, yeah, I had fun.
That's it. It sounds like you really did. Pretty sincere there. How about Jay?
I don't recommend this.
So I'm not a Twilight novice. I read, I believe, 3 out of the 4 books in school. I actually read the books before I watched the movies because, surprise, I was trying to get a girl, and it worked. So it was all worth it.
That might be a common theme in our stories.
I just want everybody to remember that while we're going through this movie, that Jasper fought for the Confederacy, which was about states' rights to keep slaves. So just think about that whenever you see him grimace whenever the black guy hits his head in the car and is bleeding. Think about why he's grimacing. That's all.
Oh my God,
Oh
Johnny.
my God.
Well, thanks for that enlightening knowledge. I just completely lost my train of thought. What the hell?
Yeah, I don't blame you, buddy.
Anyways, yeah. So like, for me, growing up is like I heard bits and pieces of this so-called romance novel or whatever. It was like the book that like we made fun of for no reason other than it was just cool to make fun of. So like I never really had any experience with it until now. And like I will admit I did have some fun with it, but it's like the kind of fun where like you wake up at 1 a.m. the next day and regret your life decisions. It's that kind of fun. So yeah.
I completely understand. I often find myself regretting my life decisions at 1 a.m. p.m. just generally, and the amount of
24 hours
time
in a
I've
day.
dedicated to Twilight is not first among, but it's easily top 13. Pete, how about you?
Yeah, common theme you said earlier with watching this to get the girl. I was similar to Jay. I read New Moon, but then I watched everything else, and also similar to Jay, it worked. So, a tip for all the guys out there: if you're trying to impress a lady, maybe read her favorite book or whatever is hot out there. But this is unironically probably the 50th time I've watched Twilight, just throughout the years, whether it's on cable. When I was in high school, I worked at a movie theater, so I saw this movie no less than probably 10 times in the theater. I'm a big fan, I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of fun with this movie rewatching it. There's some things that I haven't watched in like 5 years, so there's some things that I forgot about. I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. So great time, love Twilight, Team Jacob all day. Yeah, those are my thoughts.
So, do you have the Twilight manga on your shelf back there?
I'm googling that right now. I didn't know it existed, but I will buy it if it exists.
Okay,
Big
I think it's
fan.
technically a
I've
graphic
seen
novel.
pictures
It's your
of it.
choice if you want to
Yeah.
do
It's a
that.
graphic. Get that normie shit out of here, Miles.
And Burley, how about you? Cass said you were a bit of an expert.
I have two big experiences with Twilight. One being in the 4th grade when it first came out, and I read it at the ripe age of 8 years old.
Wow.
Because that's when it came out.
Star Twilight
Like I
fan.
remember, like at Burger King, like the toys were Team Jacob, Teen Edward. Like that, I was there. And then back in college, being like the president of the writing club, just reading YN excerpts of college students trying to be writers. So I got those two.
Okay, great. That sounds good. And for myself, much like the other men my age in this podcast, in high school it was a big deal. I remember trying to impress girls by my Twilight knowledge, but I also made sure to let it be known that I was above it. Um, and I explained why Twilight was bad because it's cool to not like popular things. I listened to this YouTube series called Alex Reads Twilight, where this British comedian narrates the book, and I stole all of his jokes, and people thought I was hilarious. So I'll probably steal a couple of those jokes tonight, even. But thus ends our spoiler-free segment of Twilight. So we're gonna get into some gory details of this series. I guess I want to start off just by talking about what I want to get the opinions of the people who hadn't really seen Twilight before, really quick. I bet you guys have heard about like the sparkly vampire sort of thing. That's sort of like the meme about it. The vampires in this, were they as disappointing as you thought going in, or were you surprised that there was still a little bit of ferocity to them? We'll start with Kat and we'll go to Johnny.
So, so my experience with Twilight. So when I the first experience I had with Twilight was vampires suck, and it like over exaggerated like the whole movie, and I was expecting it to be like a shittier version of that. And then the pregame for Twilight, like if you were in the Discord, by the way, you should join the Discord. It is in our link below. The show was just I'm
It
I
seems
had,
to have
I had
really
an unholy rage.
okay.
I think that's the best. I think that's the most clean way to put it.
So are you like a traditional vampire fan, and like maybe you just don't like the?
I don't like. I don't particularly like the idea of vampires unless they're used for comedy. And I guess that's just
One could argue that these vampires were used for comedy, but
you can argue that, but that's not due to the writer. That's due to the actors. And I think that kind of shone through. Honestly, like I feel like just because of the pregame of this watch, I felt more. I was less angry. I am less angry than I was before, and although it's a compliment to it, it is still not great in my opinion. Just so it seems like the ramblings on of a 19-year-old creative writer that I had to review. Like they just basically made a fan fiction that I read and tried to help them improve on. And yeah, I thought that was going to be worse than Twilight. I was wrong, but I feel just about as bad, and I'm proud of that writer for
Putting
being
himself out there.
okay.
being on par with the original writer, or surpassing them.
We have lost the thread a teeny bit, but thank you there.
Yeah,
for
shout out
this
to Kat
general
for not answering Miles's question at all.
Johnny, how about you on the vampires?
All right, yeah. So
I got you, Kat. Your brain's a little frazzled from it.
I too have brain damage, but not from the show. Okay, anyways. So, anyways, this show to me, it's like I watched it, and I think I've come to the conclusion that like this is basically what SAO is to anime fans. What to like? How should I put it? Normal people. It's like it does the same thing where it's like it's a very baseline appeal. Where it's like, oh, look at these hot people, look at these cool vampire dudes that sparkle in the sun. It's just like it's like anyone can just watch this. I think and just have somewhat of a good time. It's like there's so much dumb stuff going on. That baseball scene was genuinely out of Looney Tunes. It's like and the more you think about the plot of the story, the less sense it makes. But it's like the same thing as SAO. It's like you're not here to really care about how much sense it makes. You're here to watch dumb stuff happen and to see, this girl have a fetish for vampires, I guess. But yeah, that's what my experience with this show is. And I feel like I've got this completely backwards since this came out way before anime was really that popular. But yeah, I guess that's just how it is.
Well, Pete, you have.
What's up,
Would
Peter?
you like to?
Can I answer your question that you asked
can.
both of them? Okay, cool. The vampires in this story are very odd. I thought a lot of stories will twist and turns how they handle vampires. And was it Stephanie Meyer? Is that the
Yes, that is.
Yeah.
Stephanie Meyer's
makes
okay.
a cameo. She orders a vegetarian something in the movie.
Oh, nice. So
She's actually writing the second book or something, or the third book or something like that. In that scene on her
okay,
laptop.
that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
it's
my girlfriend told me that.
yeah, just the twist of instead of vampires getting disintegrated when they see sunlight, they sparkle like 1,000 diamonds. And I thought that twist was kind of pretty stupid, but then they kind of how they incorporate it into the context of hey, they live in Washington because it rains 200 days a year, so they don't have to sparkle, can go to school, that type of stuff. I then when they incorporate it into the context of the story, I actually thought that was pretty well done. And maybe a hot opinion, I thought the baseball scene was actually pretty dope. That they used the lightning and the thunder to hide the sound, so they can go outside and be themselves for one time a year or something like that whenever the storms happen. So in the aspects of vampires, it's kind of hit and miss. In the context, it makes sense, but being pretty diamond boys was kind of just when that scene happened, I'm just all right, that okay, that's kind of the thing. But this is if we're talking anime, this is a shoujo, 100% a shoujo, and I think it marketed itself well to that demographic.
I would agree. My wife could not stop talking about how hot Robert Pattinson was just during the movie, and I was like, "Oh, is this John line not good enough for you? You need, and then I was like, yeah, you know what? Fair enough. He like turns his head, and I'm just like, oh no, he's beautiful.
Do you glisten in the sun?
Yeah, I do. Well, I do glisten in the sun, but only because I'm so pale.
Yes, yeah.
Not
you're
diamonds.
You're like a beard. You can
Just
melt
get like
sand.
some,
Yeah.
reflective skincare product. And just,
Yeah,
like,
a
keep it on
vampire
all
couldn't
times.
see themselves in my reflection.
true.
Nice.
That is the case. So I guess we can also talk about, you know, the main aspect of this movie is the romance. So, you know, there are a lot of things to criticize about this romance from like and I think it's an interesting conversation to have from like you know, Edward and Bella's relationship is not particularly healthy.
You think?
However, I do get the appeal, you know, of when you're a young person wanting, you know, cool, strong vampire boy to take interest in you and watch over you while you're sleeping and stuff. So what was y'all's take on the relationship? Do you think that, you know, it's problematic, or do you think it's okay to have some of these sort of not necessarily fetishized, but idealized sort of aspects in these sorts of things? Does anybody want to
Can I
go
get
first?
Burley's
On this?
opinion on this? I'm really
Yeah, that would
intrigued.
be great.
Okay.
First of all, Bella should have left Edward's ice pee alone from the beginning. All of this would have been avoided.
Oh, you.
Oh, she's
No, never
speaking
mind.
the language of the gods.
I just had a terrible thought, but I'm going to keep it to myself.
Please do.
What about the
Um,
appeal of like Edward and Bella's relationship?
Yeah, when you were reading this in like middle school, were you like, "Oh my God, Edward is like"? What were your thoughts then, and like versus now?
Well, at the time, when you're young, you don't really think about oh, he is a ancient pedophile. I thought of, wow, you know, he's a superhero, like I can be saved. And as like someone who kind of had like not the greatest childhood, I always thought of like, you know, it'd be nice to kind of have a person that can kind of like remove you from said situation and like save you, look after you. So when I was 8, that sounded very appealing, very protective. But as an adult, I realized, you know, that's kind of crazy.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's God. Like I like. So to me, it's similar to a lot of these relationships that you see in anime. There's actually like a lot of comparisons we can make to Twilight and anime, and I think we should spend some time doing that because we're technically an anime podcast.
Are we, or are we a Twilight
and-
podcast?
I have some. I think I have. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Whenever
that's okay. If you have thoughts on that, please continue because I was going to evolve the conversation a little bit. So if you
I
want to say
honestly
something,
think that, like a lot of other anime, Twilight is heavily influenced by the culture of the mangaka, which is to say Stephanie Meyer,
yes,
who is a very conservative Mormon woman, and it shows in Edward and Bella's relationship dynamic with how Edward is allowed to basically like completely have control of the power dynamic for the vast majority of the series, and is allowed to like threaten to do all sorts of crazy shit to her and to himself over their relationship, driving recklessly, using his vampiric abilities to intimidate her, threatening to abandon her in a forest, like all.
he
Not
threatens to
even to
kill
get it.
himself.
Let's
Yeah,
not
well,
forget
he not
gaslighting
even to
her.
get into the second stuff, like the second movie, like all the shit that happens then, like it's a textbook, like it is a textbook abusive relationship. The way it's written is the thing, like, and I understand, like, it wasn't necessarily meant to be written like that, but I agree with Burley that whenever you step back and look at it from an adult perspective after you've been through, like, after you've seen more things in your life, it's definitely pretty easy to see, like, oh, this is written in a super fucked up way, actually.
Yeah, is someone who was in an abusive relationship for a while. It's really. I think this is the first time I've watched it since I like. I don't know, dealt with all of that. And so it was really interesting to see it because you can see why they appeal to each other, the value they find in each other, and how absolutely and toxically codependent the entire thing is, and how all of their worth is derived from each other as opposed to themselves. And how horribly toxic that is. I mean, it's not even very subtle. Edward tells her many times that he wants to kill her. Like,
Yeah.
um
The whole it's like it's similar to like Beastars or something where like it's Beastars is a lot well better done than this.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that. But like it's similar to that relationship dynamic at the beginning where it is Haru and Legoshi, who is named after the most famous actor to ever portray a vampire, Bela Lugosi. He has that dynamic of wanting to like eat Haru as well as like wanting to protect her and stuff like that. So if you want to look at Twilight but good, go read Beastars. Actually, is what I
You
should
can watch
say.
it. You can watch
You
it.
can watch it too, but if you want to, yeah, go read it. In my opinion, but yeah. So that's all I just wanted to chime in because it reminded me of that whenever you mentioned wanting to kill and eat her and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is very, very true. I think that, anyways, let's lighten up the conversation a little bit from the horribly toxic center stage relationship, and let's talk about some of the anime tropes that we noticed in this. Because I think this sort of shows that when we're in our anime communities, we kind of think necessarily that we're like special, but that a lot of these tropes are like anime tropes when really they're just media is all exactly the same tropes. So like Bella is a transfer student who comes in. She's a mysterious transfer student. There's some sibling incest that goes on, or a few that I noticed.
Don't forget.
Yeah, the syscon. There was syscon in this. Like,
Yeah,
what?
there is. There's the Jacob is the childhood friend who ultimately loses the romance triangle. I don't know if anyone noticed anything else, but I would like to hear your thoughts on, I guess, the tropes in this and any anime comparisons if you can make them.
I actually have an anime comparison that just came to mind. So if I don't remember how many people have watched the Seven Deadly Sins, but like in the show, like the Seven Deadly Sins really like shows off how powerful each character is by having these different scenes, like the scene with Bon and whatever the main character's name is.
Meliodas.
Yes, when they're playing patty cake and like destroying a castle by playing patty cake and stuff like that, like just having different scenes throughout that just to kind of like let them know that they are very, very powerful. Like
Similar to the baseball scene.
Baseball scene, the truck thing where dude almost kills Bella, and just stuff like that. Like it feels a lot like they are trying to build up a shonen thing, but like it's kind of interesting that it is more shoujo in that aspect.
I think in the romance element where like they meet and like they fall in love immediately. Like Edward sees Bella when she walks into I guess when he walks past her in like the cafeteria, but like I would say like the first real scene between them when they're in the science classroom and he like sees her and then like I think there's like a fan that's blowing and her hair gets like waft or whatever and he's just like, oh my god, just like, oh my god, I love her, oh my god, I need her. It's just like that was just like the fall in love in first sight type of thing was just like a little much. I wish there's like no development between them. It's just like I instantly love you, which makes sense from Edward's perspective, I guess, because that's how vampires work, I think, where like you smell the people you love. And I think you kind of see that later with Jacob. Oh man,
he's a werewolf.
Well, I mean, like he imprints and
yes, on a fetus.
on a child. Speaking of more pedophilia, here's another anime trope. We already mentioned it once. Let's add it twice. Like some Deus Ex Machina stuff where like he shows up, like she's in like the other town with her friends, and then Edward just, I'm gonna drift into this corner real quick and save my princess. Just like some of that like Deus Ex Machina right place, right
Talking about
time
when
type of
those
situation.
those nice young gentlemen were gonna give her a walk home.
Yeah, right. They just wanted to hang out. Like they seem like nice guys. I bet they would. I bet they would
Maybe
like.
they were throwing a football or something from what I
Yeah.
recall.
And
They
then
just
Edward
wanted
shows up in his Volvo,
Yeah,
which is
they just wanted
just
to play a pickup basketball game with Bella. That's all. There was
You
like
can-
5 dudes there.
well, you can tell that they didn't quite get the Pacific Northwest correct because Edward should be driving a Subaru.
Yeah.
What is he?
But
from Maine?
I used to I didn't. I used to stay at a beach house at the area that they filmed in. And it is a beautiful area, but it is actually even more dreary than they portrayed it in the thing. I know that Burley has something to talk about. If no one else has any tropes or anything that they want to talk about, we can move on.
I guess I don't know if this is like a trope exactly, since like I haven't seen really like too many shoujo anime. Was the camera angles of like the extreme close-ups onto Bella's face throughout the entire movie was just so
I think-
unsettling.
It doesn't need to be similar to a shoujo. That's pretty similar to, say, Kakaguri, right? I think
I haven't seen that either, but it's like
Oh,
I feel
okay.
like maybe it's like Monogatari, but like that's not really the same thing.
Yeah, no, I know
It-
what you're saying though. There was a lot of camera shots that were just like facial expression of the
Bella,
darkness
like
scene
on the verge of orgasm, like every
where
time
she's
she
getting
sees
hit by the
Edward.
cabbages or whatever, and she's like, oh, and it's just that is just Bella and Edward the entire time.
So I actually wanted to talk about the looks because that just reminded me of it. So every time I look at them looking at each other, like when they're in love with each other, it's like the most objectifying look I've ever seen. Like when they look at somebody, it looks like they're staring at a piece of meat. Like it's
I was wondering if that was intentional though, because
Yeah,
she
I think
literally
Edward
is
literally
livestock
is.
to him.
because the actors actually had
Edward said it.
Yeah, the actors had a
Not Edward. Robert Patterson.
Vampire himself confirmed it for us.
Okay, so like the actors basically said that the only way to portray how they wanted him to be portrayed was to look constipated. So like both of them looked constipated throughout the entire show, and like also there were deleted scenes during the baseball scene of like just the actors having fun, like just flipping bats and doing stuff. Like they looked talented, they were funny, but then as soon as the cameras rolled, it was like terrible. That's just my opinion.
No, that is fine. Okay, so
There were some
You wanna-
anti-tropes though. I don't know. If,
oh, okay, we're gonna go. What are the anti-tropes? Let's hear them.
living parents.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
People in an actual relationship, and 2 black people.
And that's true. That's like very high for anime standards.
Yeah. It's an anti-trope. So props to Twilight for being progressive.
But I will
Well-
say one more Confederate soldier than most anime have.
True.
Okay, so really, you wanted to talk about Charlie.
Yes. I felt that he was the only sane person in the whole story, in the whole books, movies. Him, Billy, and sometimes Carlisle. Like if they were a trio and there was a movie series just about them 3, I would definitely watch it. He also, I feel like he was the only one asking the right questions. Like, are those actually animals that are like making and doing the killings? Like, you're not gonna go with this creepy guy to prom. Here's your pepper spray. Like, he's the only person who had brain cells in this whole series, in my honest opinion. He did have his moments.
I think there was a gas leak in the town. Honestly, like I think everybody. I think that there's just a big. They must be under like a natural gas.
We
source
can't
or
blame
something.
everything on the
Poison in
gas
the
leak,
water
Jake.
that like damages their brains.
Yeah, like Charlie is the best of the like those 3 are the best of the bunch, but they like you said, they definitely still have their moments. Like it's a low bar is this thing.
Yeah, so I guess okay, anime dads, not a ton of them, but if we had to rank Charlie as an anime dad,
Ooh.
He's
Like-
slightly better. Well, wait,
He's
I don't
better than
remember how far
average.
you are.
is he
I don't
better
remember
than
how hard-
Hohenheim? Is
No.
It's the question.
Nobody's better than Hohenheim.
I'm gonna say he cares about his daughter, so probably he is.
I think
I
he
would
ranks
say-
slightly above Jing.
I would say that he is slightly lower than Ichigo's dad.
Oh
Just
yeah, I would
slightly,
agree with
though.
Is he better than
Ichigo-
Naruto?
Ichigo has one of the better dads in anime for sure.
That's true.
My understanding is
Uh,
Naruto's not a great dad. Is that correct? I haven't watched any Boruto.
Oh, he's like a well, he's a
he's
a
busy.
slightly better dad.
Yeah, he's busy man.
It's like having your dad be the president. You can't blame him for being busy. Fuck.
yeah.
also sounds like a
Imagine-
sister.
it's
He's
like
also drunk half
it's
the
like
time.
he's the president and also Superman at the same time.
Look, not
Yeah,
everybody,
it's
not
such.
everyone can be Gendo. Like he Charlie's a great dad. Like
It doesn't even make sense why they get mad about the shadow clones. He gets the memories and shit. Okay, whatever. You know what? Fuck.
we are now a Boruto podcast. Next year for April Fools, let's do Boruto, the next generation.
Oh, let's
All
watch
of
just
Boruto
every-
too.
Can we
every-
read
let's
that
watch-
instead?
Let's
No.
watch every episode of Black Clover
Fuck.
for next week.
I
Oh,
like Black
dear.
Clover.
I would love that.
I'll have a
Honestly,
clue.
A scene I liked with Charlie. It is a very stereotypical scene, but when Edward's coming over and he's getting a shotgun ready,
Yeah.
I thought it was funny for two reasons. One, my high school girlfriend, shout out Brie Mello, her dad did that to me,
What?
and so
Wow.
like I like have an experience. Like I always thought that was the thing that happened in the movies
Oh.
until he was like,
I want to
"Here's
share my experience.
here's
like
my
that.
gun." And then two, I thought it was funny because he was all like, "This'll scare the kid off," and Edward could murder him no matter how many shotguns he had. So to me, just sort of the futility of trying to shoot Edward Cullen was funny to me. I thought that. Jay, do you have a boyfriend
Yeah.
Can we
or
do like a
girlfriend?
round table for this? This could be fun.
I just
Yes,
gotta say,
please.
like, it was prom my senior year, actually. I was going with my friend, shout out Journey Manual. And Journey Manual sounds like the name of a dungeon master's guide or something.
It does.
doesn't
Yeah,
it? Um
5e
and her
Journey
dad,
Manual.
I don't know, he was a weird guy who was like a newspaper editor, and that he was going through divorce, so he was already going through some shit. And we show up to his house, I guess, on prom night, I guess so he could meet me, and there's just like hard piano playing in the background as we show up. And he's like there drunk, and he doesn't show me a shotgun, he shows me a pistol. Like,
Oof.
and it's like, bro, damn. And so basically I was just like, yeah, we're just friends. That's all there is to it. All there ever will be. And then we got the fuck out of there very quickly.
I had,
Okay,
like,
has anyone else had a gun? Pete, did you have a
No,
gun
mine's
pulled
like
on
the
you?
exact opposite because the girl
You
that
pulled
I
a gun
on her?
On the
no,
dad.
yeah. I was like, yo, give me a daughter. No, it's just like the exact opposite where like you guys had like these hard ass high school dads where the girl that I was dating because of Twilight, thank you, Twilight, it was her and a sister, and he just always wanted a son and he never got one, and so I was her first boyfriend. So I got like beers from him and like praises and just
Wow.
like you should just impregnate my daughter now. I'm like, oh my god, okay, I'm 17, but thank you, sir.
Interesting, bro.
Yeah, good times. Shout out to Al.
Cream
yours
pie my
was
daughter.
much better than mine was
Shout out
because
to Al.
because the first person that I had a situation with that, I was dating a racist white chick at
I
the
knew
time.
that's where it was gonna go. I knew it.
And- And she didn't want me to meet her parents. So, because her parents were ostracized from the rest of the family, but she was loved by the rest of the family, so I got to meet her uncle and her grandfather and grandmother. They worked at a mechanic shop. I went over there, and the first thing I see is the grandpa with a M1911 on his hip. Well, not an M1911, but a 1911 on his hip, a pistol.
Okay, thank you.
And then I said, like, she hadn't broken the news to them that we were dating. So I was like, "Hey, I'm dating your daughter." The uncle pulls out a video of him and his friend with a giant ass sniper rifle, just doing target practice and saying, "I can get that whenever I want." Like I felt like vampires from Twilight were looking at me at the time, and I didn't make the connection then, but now I can.
I don't
So-
always get the like America gun memes, and then I talk to my friends and family who live in the South, and then I do.
Yeah.
Kat, have you heard about the movie Get Out?
Yeah, it's a lot like that.
That was the
Living in
first thing I thought of when I heard your story. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, God.
I mean,
Anyway,
like, you just go into Walmart and leave one section, and then all of a sudden that section is quiet, and you don't know what's going on, and all the white people are looking at you. It's kind of weird.
well, we're gonna get back to Twilight because I don't have the capacity to deal with this right now.
Also, I'm not American. So
we
I
should
think I'm
watch
just
Get Out
listening
next
to this
year.
Conversation.
Ooh, that
Okay,
actually might be spicy.
So for people who have, unfortunately, Johnny and Kat can't really get into this conversation, and we're expanding a little bit beyond the scope of the first Twilight movie. However, it is important that we have an Edward versus Jacob
Yeah.
conversation here. And so I'm gonna ask the people who know. We'll start with Pete, then we'll go Burley, then we'll go up to Jay. Team Edward or Team Jacob, and why? Defend your
Yes.
position.
This is two losing battles because I was Team Jacob up until the end,
baby thing.
until the baby thing, and then it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, and then it's like, okay, well, Edward's obviously better than Jacob. It's like, you know what? He's really not. So it's a lose-lose situation. When they win, we lose. If I had to pick one, I think I like Jacob more for the majority of the series. So I think out of just pure spite, I'm gonna go with Team Jacob. But I mean, if I had to pick one of the vampires to like really pick, it's Carlisle. That dude's the man.
Okay. So you're Team Carlisle,
Team-
which was
Fun fact, in high school, high school, freshman year of college, I was on a Quiz Bowl team, which we won, and our team name was Team Carlisle.
oh fun. Okay. Burley, what are your thoughts on the epic debate of Team Edward, Team Jacob?
I used to have a Jacob poster, Taylor Lautner poster in my bedroom, and I was, you know, he was a guy I had chosen because he was the safe option. Because my mom didn't want Edward in my room because to this day she's afraid of vampires. So she was like, we can have him and stuff. But if I were to choose, you know, like Pete said, like someone that isn't exactly Edward and or Jacob, I would pick Alice.
Ooh, nice pick.
Yeah, God, you stole my thunder. I was going to pick Alice, but that's okay. Jay, what were your thoughts on this? Which person that isn't in the two options that I'm giving would you pick?
So I actually came prepared for this.
Ooh.
Pete,
Oh,
if you wouldn't
okay.
mind narrating what I'm doing for the audio listeners real quick.
I will. Jay is standing up
hopefully
and
you're
taking
back,
out
or-
his headphones. Oh, he's
All right,
taking
so
off.
this is my
He is,
pick.
Disappeared into the
wait,
void.
he has disappeared. He's taking his shirt.
He's
Oh, it's
not-
there. He has.
Killua Zoldyck from Hunter x Hunter.
He is wearing a Killua shirt. Okay. So he is Team Killua. Okay.
Still a
Well,
better
okay.
love story than Twilight.
This is
by
like,
the way.
you ever see this Chappelle show of like the racial draft where they pick
Oh
my
the
God.
Chinese delegation
entire
selects the
Wu-Tang
Wu-Tang Clan? This is Jay just like, and we select Killua Zoldyck from Hunter x Hunter. It's oh.
Okay.
Well done,
Well,
Jay.
okay.
Well done.
Thank you.
Since
Thank you.
I now know that we can pick people not in Twilight, I'm going to switch to picking Haruhi Suzumiya.
Yeah, good pick.
Because I've just recently finished that series and I'm in love with it. So I'm going to ship the Haruhi series with myself for this answer.
Okay,
I'm
but if
go-
I was being like for real though, for a character
Yes.
in the series, I think I would have to go with Alice too because
Yeah.
she carries the entire last 2 movies on her fucking back.
Literally.
Like
She
that
does start
the
that bad moment with the fight though.
no,
It's all oh, did you like
no,
that?
I liked that. I
Ooh,
liked
okay.
that actually.
Okay,
Damn, I was just about to say that was like my favorite scene in the last movies. I
oh
thought that it
dang.
was I thought it was pretty sick that they were like, no, that actually didn't happen. Like I thought it was kind of cool. It was a cool way to use the power.
We we know my take on It Was All a Dream from our Bunny Girl Senpai, and it's a little bit beyond the scope of this episode is just 3 or 4
True,
movies in the future. Um
true.
but that's interesting. I haven't heard of people I can see why that scene could be cool. Like
To be fair, I didn't know it was gonna happen when I first watched it when it was back on like in January or something when it was on Netflix, and I just watched all the movies.
okay.
And I didn't know it was gonna happen, so I was watching this and I was like, dude, they're fucking him up. Like, damn. And I was like, oh! And then, like, great content, by the way.
We have nothing but good content here at What Do You Say Anime. Okay. So, this conversation we're getting towards the end, but I do want to bring up another Twilight meme and relate it to anime specifically. Things we've watched. If you haven't watched all the things we watched, feel free to chime in with any romance anime that you think either fits or doesn't fit what I'm going to say. There's a meme, of course, which is still a better love story than Twilight, which is said about everything. Basically, no matter what happens, someone will watch. Oh my God, what's that name of that movie? Jay, it's an Italian movie. It takes place during the Holocaust.
Oh, It's a Wonderful World. Life.
Yeah, no,
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a beautiful life.
It's a beautiful life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So people will see that and say like, still a better love story than Twilight, even though it's just horribly depressing. And so I would like to know, out of the anime you've seen, is there anything that you think is a worse love story than Twilight?
Guilty
and why?
Crown.
Guilty Crown is a
Ooh.
very good option.
Charlotte.
We might find out next week. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have Charlotte, we have Guilty Crown. Pete, you looked like you had an immediate answer.
Yeah, it's called Wolf Girl and Black Prince. It's
Okay.
from 2014, which is
bad.
essentially Twilight in terms of the male controlling kind of the female character. In that sense, except it's way worse than Twilight in terms of that aspect. The irregular at Magic High School because the sister wants to fuck the brother. Also,
Yeah, but that's normal.
That happens in Twilight too.
they're step. Come on, Miles.
Sorry.
We use the correct verbiage around here. They are step siblings in that movie or that show. They are actual siblings.
Oh, also, I would put Sasuke and Sakura from Naruto on par with Twilight.
Okay.
They're
Ooh.
about the same.
I
What
Sasuke
about
literally,
Sasuke and Naruto?
Sasuke literally like puts a katana through her at one point. So,
Rent a Girlfriend.
I would also like to add in Bungo Stray Dogs.
Does that have romance?
Yeah,
Naomi and
they're in the
Oh
sister.
yeah.
I know Pete had completely blanked that out of his memory.
I'm having a Naomi Vietnam flashback right now.
And I know this is kind of cliche, but I would also like to say Baku no Pico.
Yeah, fair enough. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'd call
There's
that a
only one
romance.
pedophile in
That's,
that.
I mean, it's a hentai, but yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen Boku no Pico?
Aren't you
No.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm also admitting I haven't seen
everyone has
Boku
their
no
limits,
Pico.
Jay.
Huh?
I would like to add Vampire Night.
Ooh, great
Ooh,
pick.
okay.
Ooh,
Great
You know,
pick.
with the
great pick.
is it like
I think they're
incest?
siblings.
Yeah, it's incest for sure. Oh yeah.
I want to mention a redo of a healer. I'm not sure anyone's brought that up yet.
Is that
Not really a romance. I mean,
I mean, it's a romance in the twisted sense.
I would not called
does love
mind
him.
control romance.
Eh.
I got you, Johnny.
Just because they smash doesn't mean they like each other.
I would say
Look at me
that
and Pete.
it's
Whoa, what?
I think if we're including what Edward and Bella do to each other as romance, then it's only fair that we include Redo of a Healer. Because
if you agree with that, leave a comment. I'm just kidding.
Please don't. If you do agree with that, please evacuate the premises.
If you think
Stay far away from us if you agree
Redo
with
of
that,
a Healer
actually.
is a romance, retweet and comment if you disagree. Okay, those are all very, very good picks. I had something, but it escapes me. But we all picked some pretty good anime that might be worse romances than Twilight. We were looking for worse. Because better is like pretty easy. Like I'm not even a big like Toradora guy, but you can just like throw that out there, right? Like
Okay, well,
watch your mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
I said it was better than Twilight, Pete.
That's not a good like.
That's
not a good bar of standard.
We're just trying not to get into Toradora discourse, is what I should
we're just
call
saying
it.
it because Pat's not here.
Pat would be backing me up normally, sadly, but he's not there. So does anybody have any final thoughts they want to get into a final discussion topic? If we don't, I think we can start. Oh, Pete
Does anyone else? Okay, go.
Pete does, and then Jay does. We have time for two things.
Yeah. Mine's. Did you guys feel like the ending was like super anticlimactic? Like the fight between
Yes.
Dude, okay, literally my thing I was gonna bring up was, does anybody just stop caring about this movie once the villains show up? Like,
it's just
I literally I got to the baseball scene and I was like, I'm done with this movie. Like once I was done with the baseball scene, was it like James or some
James
shit?
or something?
Like the whitest possible name.
On record, people named James are like usually pieces of shit. If you're a James who's not a piece of shit, join the Discord and prove me wrong, but you won't.
It was just such a weird dynamic with James and then Laurent, because like Laurent was like dripping like swag, and then James just looks like, I don't know. He definitely
looks like Jay forgot to shave.
No, he looks like, I don't know. I feel like James definitely shows up to a Trump rally. Like that's the vibe I was getting.
I need to find out where James's actor was on January 6th,
yeah, where was he on January 6th? But like it's just like you kind of see it at the end where Laurent's just like, this ain't my fight, like peace, like fuck this dude. And I thought that was actually kind of funny, but like the fight scene itself was so anticlimactic. Like you have like these two super strong people, they can like fuck each other up. I think we get like one kind of cool scene where they like throw him into like a window and he just like bounces like a basketball instead of going through the window. And then the backup shows up, they grab him, rip his head off, it's over. And it's like, oh my god, you could have done something so cool with this. I don't know.
It was weird because the scene of him getting decapitated was very in the background.
Very, like, and then like he wasn't struggling. I mean, like I know two vampires were holding him, but he wasn't like screaming or anything. He's just like, you got me. Here it comes. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm just like, wow, okay. It was
it's
really
like the power
bad.
of friendship showed up, and then I will say I do appreciate them just sort of being like, you know what happens now, and then it happens. Like it was you got past it. Another thing that I guess this can bring up that I want to talk about is the animation in this movie is surprisingly bad for a live action movie.
Done by Studio Summit.
Studio Summit. So like the effects that they did to try to make the vampires seem like they were going fast just made the world seem like it was going slower to me. Like they would show like Edward jumping through, but it was like the most obviously hoisted by like, you know, like if you've seen 21 Jump Street with like the Peter Pan scene, it was like basically that.
Do you guys remember the scene in the bedroom where like it's her and Edward alone in the bedroom and like they're kissing or something and he like jumps back? Shouldn't he have like slammed her bed through the fucking house with the amount of power he had?
Newton's second law is completely irrelevant.
Like, I think it breaks the laws of physics. He feels
he really does.
when Jay brought that up, it just reminded me of it would have been so great if they actually like took like any of the bedroom scenes and like did the Queen of the Damned inspired or Vampire Lestat. I would have been all over that. Instead of it just being like corny Mormon, I don't want to have sex with her, and actually went full forced, see ice pee pee, everything.
He should have hung.
They would have,
hanging dong.
yes, but no, they were just like, oh, I really want it, but I'm afraid of it, or you don't know the potential of this ice pee pee, so I'm just gonna like leave, levitate away.
This is an important question. Does his penis being cold make it softer or harder?
I feel like it's like ice.
He still has like blood function and stuff. Their blood just gets replaced with their venom or something stupid like that. That makes no sense. Like,
okay. What is the biology? Like, I want to understand the urology of.
I think. Well, they say that like they describe his skin as being hard as stone because of the diamond shit. So it goes to like his ice pee would be ice hard for sure.
Okay.
Like, you know, whenever they in Forged in Fire, whenever he's like, I'm gonna take your knife and slam it into this big block of ice 10 times, like that's the ice pee.
Also, like, I feel like
Pete is nodding his head for those at home. He knows what I'm talking about.
I feel like there would be. I feel like the best comparison to that would be a wooden dildo.
I don't think like a
That sounds
diamond
splintery.
one or something.
A diamond dildo.
See, but here's the thing: a wooden dildo is a little bit more like. Do you think it would have a little bit of give to it? Because I mean, it's still skin.
Depends on the wood.
I don't want to talk about
I don't
this.
think their skin has. You know what? Pete is making a good point. We
We're
can
not a
talk
sex
about this
toy
after the
review
pod.
podcast.
We could honestly spend an entire other podcast talking about this. It's a very
If you want to hear us talk about vampire penises, subscribe to our Patreon.
we don't have a Patreon.
Wait, we have a Patreon?
No.
I've been
Well,
skimming off the
just
top
now.
this entire time.
Somebody's
Pete.
just like running a fake Patreon for us.
It's been
how
me.
It's
He
been me.
donated to himself.
It's been me the whole time.
It was me, Pete. Okay. So with that, let's get into our final thoughts, and this is a good best boy, best girl
Yeah.
anime. There are things that I think we missed out on, but if you think we missed out on something, just try to hit it on your final thoughts, and we'll start with Kat.
And
a score. I apologize.
Okay. We're still doing the regular scoring stuff.
Yeah.
Or can
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. What was your Mal score for Twilight?
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm just gonna give my review first. So I really this movie is something. It's definitely something, but like it's not my type of something. It's the type of something that I would watch if I was drunk on 2 different types of alcohol and simultaneously still vaping. So that's probably not gonna happen again. And I feel like I would hate this movie if I had watched this when I was younger, but now I'm just callous to it because I've watched so much anime. And because of that, I think I'm gonna give it a higher score. But before I give you my score, I want to give you my best boy. That would go to Bella's dad. I'd drawn a blank on his name.
Carlisle.
No,
That's
Carlisle.
Charlie.
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 Carlisle's
Charlie Swain.
Swan.
Swan.
Pete, fake fan.
So Charlie Swan is the best boy because Charlie Swan is a great dad. Like, just unironically, he's just a great, like, he seems like the type of dad to ask if he's being a good dad because he's unsure of himself, which almost always seems like you're a great dad. Like, and then, Bella's a piece of shit, because, she's just like, my dad is so fucking annoying. Anyway, my final score for Twilight as a whole is 5, and 2 of those points are for Charlie.
Fantastic. Jay, hit me with your Twilight thoughts.
So I don't like Twilight's not bad, honestly. Honestly, like it is bad, but
It's
it's
fun
not
bad,
trash. I mean, it is trash, but like
but it's not
it's.
garbage.
I had a good time. I had a good time, is what I'll say, more or less. Like, I don't know. I feel like truly hating Twilight is a very 2010 feeling to have. Like, it's okay to like bad movies. I don't know. I Like I said, I really, after the baseball scene, I just check out in this movie. I'm not interested in the villains at all. I feel like the villains were more or less just a setup for the drama of the second film, or book. Um, most of the character interactions are like okay, I guess. I enjoy a lot. Like I really enjoyed the school aspect, almost like seeing like Anna Kendrick be like a jealous hater and whatnot. Like she was really like she was doing some hated, and I appreciated it. Um, Overall, I'd have to say my score is like I give this like a 6. I think like
Okay.
it's solidly average for me. I
Do
had
you have
a
a best
good
boy and
time.
best girl?
Best boy, best girl. Um, so it's not really possible for me to give like an unbiased opinion without like keeping the rest of the series in mind. I feel so. I'm
Feel
not
free
gonna.
to incorporate it.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say for the overall series, my best boy would probably be uh I'm gonna have to go with Carlisle for best boy overall. Even though he like people should be more weirded out by him allowing his stepchildren, his adopted children to have sex, because that's weird. Um Best girl, I'm gonna have to go with Alice too.
Smart
Because
pick.
I mean, it's just Alice. She's one of the better actresses, I feel. She Honestly, the only reason we haven't seen that actress in more stuff is because she kind of torpedoed her career. But uh yeah, I don't know. She maybe deserved a better shot. So that's my best girl and best boy too. And like I said, overall 6.
Sounds good. Johnny.
Yeah, so as I kind of said, like at the start of this episode, like Twilight to me is like what SAO is to anime, but like for Hollywood instead, you know, it's a thing that like everyone says it's cool to hate on, basically, but it's also like it's not really that bad. It's obviously got like a lot of issues about like like the issues with the plot, issues with the animation, just like generally, but like also I did have a better time than I thought I would. So and best boy, I'm gonna have to give it to the dad as well because he just as people have said, he's like the only person in this entire town with like a singular brain cell. He's like he felt like an actual human being. So yeah, and for best girl, honestly, I don't know if I can even give an answer because I'm not gonna say Bella, but that's the only female character's name that I remembered. So like,
Okay, no, that's
I'll give
official.
best girl.
Johnny's best girl is Bella
No,
Swan.
no, no. Best girl is
Swan.
give me
Final answer?
another name. Give me the name of another female character.
Sure. Alice. There
Yeah,
you
sure.
go.
She's my best
That's
girl
who I'm
now.
gonna pick. So
She's my best girl now. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So final score gonna be 6 out of 10. It's like it's not terrible, but at the same time, it's like it's pretty flawed and has a lot of issues. But I had a good time.
okay. Pete.
All right. The voice of the people has arrived. I love Twilight. I've
Beautiful.
seen it 50 times. Watching it through again for the 51st time was an absolute treat. I had a blast watching this movie. It's just so, I don't know, this anime just does something to me that no other anime has ever done before, and that's get me laid. So just off of that alone, I'm bumping it up like 5 points. Best boy, Carlisle.
14.
Best girl, Alice. My final score for Twilight, 9 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a 9.
A 9.
A
Okay.
9.
Jesus.
Johnny, I missed
Oh
your
my-
score. I apologize. I forgot that
Mine was a 6 out of 10.
You gave it a 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot that I am Pat today and I have to record.
Once a Japanese anime gets me laid, then Twilight will go to a 4. But until then, it's a 9.
Okay, that sounds good. Burley, what are your thoughts? Best boy, best girl, and your final score out of 10.
I don't know if I have a best boy, best girl, but I do have like 2 honorable mentions that I'd like to talk about.
Okay, good boy, good girl. Not best, but they're nice. They're okay.
They're okay. I don't think that I have any like boys in mind, but primarily, everybody seems to forget her, but she killed her husband when he cheated on her the day of their wedding, Rosalie, because like she's a powerhouse, but also another honorable mention that she's a whole meme. Robitussin, you know, the animatronic baby that looked terrifying.
Hell yeah.
But the book was terrible because I read it, but the actors did what they could and actually made a cinematic masterpiece, in my humble opinion. With they had trash and they made treasure out of it. But I would give it an 8.
Let's go.
Cinematic
Also-
masterpiece, 8 out of 10.
Let's go.
Wow.
Love it.
Jesus.
I did not know I was married to Happy.
So I enjoy Twilight. I think it's fun. It's campy. You know, there's it's very quotable. I like saying I just go to my wife sometimes and say, "This is the skin of a killer, Bella." I like saying on "Hold tight, Spider Monkey." You know, I think it's
context.
pretty fun. Oh, I think you know the context.
Okay.
It's
When you're pulling groceries?
when we're going grocery
Skydiving.
shopping.
When you're climbing
Skydiving.
trees.
Kayla's been skydiving. I would never, because it's jumping out of a plane, and that's something insane people do.
That sounds awesome, honestly. I would love to skydive.
And so I think that there are very obviously flaws in it. I think that the special effects are bad. I think the relationship is horrible. I actually do like the high school drama a bit. I think that's like kind of fun. I think that they do their darndest to show Bella is like a cool person worth liking, with like how well she like helps her friends out romantically and stuff. Like Bella is a piece of toast, but she is a piece of toast with like some butter on it, you know? Like
That's
there are
delicious.
slightly more toasty characters out there.
Not enough to make it good, but just enough to like
Be able to eat
give
it
you
and not feel-
carbs.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
got me some calories.
Yeah. So with that said, best boy, I think I'm going to go with Charlie, at least for this first movie, and then best girl, I'm going to go with Alice. Alice has a fun line where she meets Bella and she says, "Oh, don't worry, Bella and I are going to be great friends," and I think that is hilarious because she can see the future. And so she's saying it more of as a fact, and you can see there's a pretty well constructed scene, some clever writing there. I liked it. That all being said, I'm gonna give this a 7. I can feel Pat actually murdering me if I give it an 8. So we're gonna give it a 7, which brings our final Twilight score up to a 6.8. Which
So close.
I think this is
We're
important.
so close.
Someone bump their score up.
Round
1.
up. Round up.
Someone give it like
people.
half a point higher.
Jay,
We'll
you
give
gave it a 6.
a-
Would you like to bump it to the 7? This is
I
your
would-
last
Yes.
chance.
Yes, I will bump it to
Oh
a
my
7.
god. Wait, no, but what if it changes the
I was
average
gonna
to
give it a
7?
6.
Okay.
No, let me bump it up to a 6 so we can have 3 6s and a 6.9.
No, that's why we.
So with 6, 6, 9, 6, 8, 7, we now have Twilight at a 7.0.
Damn it!
See, no,
Drop
oh my
it.
God.
Down to a 5.
Hey, Jay, you gotta drop it.
Stop the
how-
count.
I don't
Hold
think
on.
we can get 6.9. I'm sorry.
Jay bumps it down to a 6, and Cap brings
We
it
have,
back up.
guys,
brings it back to a
we're
6.
destroying the integrity of our ratings.
I was saying for an April Fool's.
Unfortunately, we
We're
can't.
trying to
Okay,
get
we'll
there.
go with the 6.83. I can't round up. I apologize. It is. Look, if it was 6.87, I'd be rounding up, but it's not. We don't have enough people who scored it, unfortunately. I should have
One
gotten
time
Pat's
Pat
Pat.
doesn't show up. I can't believe
Yeah.
this.
Damn you, Pat.
So
The
we have
one
Twilight at a 6.8, which is going to put it in between 91 Days in Princess Principal,
Nice.
Wodakoi, Bunny Girl Senpai, and Grimgar.
So is Twilight higher than Bunny Girl Senpai now?
It is just below Bunny Girl Senpai.
Okay, yeah. Pat was
Um,
gonna actually just like.
If
Bunny Girl
we
Senpai is
include
a
Jay's
7
increased
even.
score, it is tied with Bunny Girl Senpai, which
Like
I think is
Pat's
a
like
big
just gonna come to your house and just like.
So 6.83 for Twilight. Now it's time for Miles to tell us what we will be watching next week.
I
We had a
regret my
really close
decision.
battle.
Thank you,
this week.
Miles. I'm gonna.
Yes. So in third place we had Aria the animation. In second place we had Razafon. And in first place, and I don't remember who nominated this. I think it was Kat. So fuck
Oh,
you,
no.
Kat.
What?
Yeah, Johnny. Don't do this, Johnny. You voted for it in first
You're
place.
right. You're right.
First
I
place,
did this
Johnny.
to myself, but you know what? I don't care.
We will be watching Charlotte. So
I brought this on myself.
So-
I really can't complain. Like I
So
seriously
because
can't
of what the meta for Charlotte is gonna be, we just have to watch like the last 3 episodes and discuss those, right? Because like that's
I
the
think
that's
entire.
what it
I have to
matter.
watch all
I think
12.
we at least have to watch the episode with her buying the lettuce, at least as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
yeah,
It's a melon. It's a melon.
Because that is a very fantastic meme template. So yeah, we will be watching Charlotte. I'm actually a little excited for that because I like the character design and stuff, and I've heard the ending is, actually F tier. So we'll find out. Is it actually F tier or is it a secret tier lower than F?
In my opinion, it's the worst ending in anime history.
Jeez Louise.
just wait until
I
Attack
need
on
to
Titan
drag
comes
down my
out.
mouse more.
No, there is no way that
I-
ever
You'll
happens.
be surprised.
No, I refuse to believe it.
I know you will.
A lot of people refuse to believe it for a long time.
Yeah.
But I read the manga. It was not great. I'll give my take on it once I finish Charlotte. But now we need to nominate what we're going to be watching in 4 weeks. So does everybody have their nominations ready? Kat, are you ready? No, it doesn't look like you are. Let's start with Pete. He gave a thumbs up. Pete, what would you like to
Cat's only
nominate?
been doing this for 2 years, and one day he will remember that we nominate shows at the end of the episode.
Don't worry, Kat. I forget
day.
too, and it's my show.
So I was going to do Kotaro Lives Alone, but I just want to watch that myself, so I'm not going to renominate it. However, I am going to nominate a show that I think would be a great discussion, great coming of age, great sort of like mild redemption story. It used to be my favorite slice of life of all time before Laid Back Camp, and I'm gonna re-up it, or I shouldn't say re-up it. I'm gonna nominate for the first time. I'm gonna nominate Brockamon.
Barakamon. Great. Okay. We will definitely see if that wins.
Yeah, we will.
I'm ready now.
Okay, Kat, what is your nomination?
My nomination for next Watch Club is Komi-san, season 1.
Oh, spicy. Okay. Comey does not communicate. Season 1. Comey is very shiny. Season 1. So many options. I might watch that because I am trying to get caught up. You might get my vote there, Kat. Because I should watch season 2 so I can finally be on the seasonal review episode of an episode with Pete, which is my New Year's resolution.
Season 2 starts on Wednesday.
Yes. Jay, do you have a nomination?
I'm going to nominate a pretty classic jazz-themed anime, Kids on the Slope.
Fuck
Kids
yes.
on the Slope.
Yes, Jay.
That
God,
gets a Pete vote.
That show, I mean, it's like my number 15 all time. That show's incredible.
Shout out
Okay.
my boy Dr. Socks in the Discord. This
Yeah.
is his number 3, I think.
Yes.
Ooh. Okay, Johnny.
I'll just re-up as Classroom of the Elite.
Classroom. It actually did everything besides Boogie Pop did well.
Damn, you guys suck.
I vote for Boogie Pop.
In
No
third.
taste. I mean, it's like it deserves a vote at least.
It's a classic.
Shit. It is an all-time classic.
Okay, Classroom of the Elite. Burley, do you have an anime that you would like to nominate?
I came unprepared, and the only anime that I can think of right now, and I hate myself for it, is Ouran High School Host Club.
It's too long, but I would love to watch it.
Is it? There's not like a
It's-
season
it's-
one
it's
that's like
too
12
co- it's
episodes
too
or something?
core, yeah, it's too
too core.
core.
Okay.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, because of the time constraints we have, we only do one core anime. I can nominate mine if you want to look something up, or honestly, do whatever the hell you want. If you don't want to nominate anything, don't. It is your choice. So I am going to split the slice of life vote again and re-up Arya the animation. Work is still stressful, and until work is not stressful, I will keep on nominating Gondola Girls on Mars. So
Nice. Can I nominate 2 shows then?
no, if anyone can, Cat gets to.
Nominate
Okay,
FLCO. It's like 6
um,
episodes long.
She has said that I can nominate 2 shows, and I will nominate a show that I feel like she would love. And I
That
think
is going to be Kiss Sis.
no.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
God,
You can't
no.
handle 2 weeks in a row of utter
The show
trash.
that I think that she would like is Kaguya-sama.
Hell yeah.
Oh, I'm always up to watch
Wait,
Kaguya-sama.
So can Cat vote for either one of his shows himself now?
I
Sure.
will worry about that later.
Well, no, Burley's going to vote for
Yeah,
her.
I'm
For her
going to
vote.
say
I'm not gonna do
Cat
that.
can vote for Kaguya-sama if he wants to. I guess. I don't know. I'll have a definitive ruling at some point. But
Commissioner.
I believe that is everything we need to do. Pete, if you would like to give us your ending spiel.
I would love to. If you have made it this far in the podcast and you want to support us, the best way to do so is like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you're listening or watching us on. If you're watching us on YouTube and you hate looking at us, we have audio-only formats as well. If you're on audio-only format and you want to see our beautiful faces, in the link tree below, you will find our YouTube page. In a week, me and Rifle will be reviewing the previously wrapped up winter 2022 seasonal. Going to be talking about Ranking of Kings for about 45 minutes, and then whatever else came out in that season. And then, and then in 2 weeks, if you're here for Watch Club, I will probably be dead, but if I'm alive, we'll be watching Charlotte. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.